Okay. We're going to start moving towards modifying the money. Play with the mic here a little bit. Playing with the money. I do want to sort of, again, I've ordered a better mic, so hopefully that'll show up here. And then I've also been messing around with Cam Studio and quality settings and encoding and stuff. And I don't know, I've never done any video editing or production ever in my life. And this is certainly evident from the beginning of the series up to this point. I didn't really care because I didn't really know where I was going when I started doing this stuff, and now there's so much of it and so much content that I actually do like. I have found that I enjoy doing it, and it bothers me that it looks like crap. So I don't know exactly yet how I'm going to go forward with that, but it's something I'm messing around with, and maybe I'll. I think that I'm just gonna until that point, like I'm gonna just forget the formal series, and I'll probably end up deleting it, and then once I figure out how to do actual like decent production stuff, then I will start to attack the how I'm going to redo some of this stuff. And I'll figure it all out then. Um, so yep, money. Um, the first thing we're going to do before we jump into money is we're going to throw a comment in here to the effect of to help out people who come after us. So I have a certain style when I'm writing some actual comments. Instead of just doing like a header like we were here or down here with memory allocation. When I'm writing an actual comment in my comments, if you will, I always put a hyphen, and then when I'm referencing a function, label, script, name, anything, I enclose them in backticks. Some people use single quotes, they use double quotes and whatnot, or the tilde, if you will. But I like to use the tilde or the backtick. I don't know why. It's just some stylistic thing that I do. Is used as the injection point for karma during character. Then I indent it so that it's nice. So is that during character creation and in game. All right, so now anyone who comes after us says, how come there's no remove point IG? And we're telling them right here. We're saying because we're reusing this injection point right here for character creation and IG or in game. Now you could get really pedantic about this stuff. And make comments to the effect of what is CC, what is IG. Um, I don't know. I think it's fairly obvious. Obviously, it's obvious to me because and us because we're the ones that are creating the script. But I'm not going to be that pedantic about comments. Maybe we will at some later date. But there was something else I wanted to do. That's gonna have to do it for now. All right, so we're gonna hit OK. We're gonna save the table. So we're going to start moving forward and we're going to go towards money, but we're going to run into a problem here of manage code again. And we're just going to run into that problem. Usually I try and do the stuff organically so that we just like, here's what we're going to do. And then we do it. And then if we hit a problem, we just say shit and then we fix it. I don't know. I've been thinking about it, and this is just I see this coming a mile down the road, but we're gonna do it anyways to demonstrate the process. So how are we gonna go about finding the money? It's relatively simple. Now, the sort of the issue that you're going to have, or that we will have in the course of developing this, is that there's no place that you can spend money as soon as you start a new game. So we're going to have to load some game that I have. I've got a billion saved games because of the series here. Um, but I have a character that I was originally messing around with this stuff. Mephistopheles is actually, I want to say that that's a man, but whatever. It's a woman, or at least it is in this universe. And the Seamsters Union has a shop. So if you haven't actually played this game, then you're, I don't know, spoilers. Not really, because I'm not really going to do anything. So there's our character there. Which one's the shop guy? Is it her? Is it Cherry Bomb or is it this dude? I forget which one it is. Yep, that's, I don't know. It's something dirty. It's plot stuff. Yep. Can I just go away? I don't know. I think you know the answer to that. I'm not reading this. I'm gonna go look around. Indeed. It's not how Coyote does it. I'll take a look. All right. As you can see, I have quite a bit of money. Because in this particular save game, this is from when the game first came out. I had gone through and used Cheat Engine to sort of figure some of this stuff out and mess around. So we'll open this up. We will attach the game. What is our money? It's 99,999. I don't know. Let's spend something. We have to confirm it to actually change that value. Confirm and then confirm. And now we could be able to bring up the PDA and was it? Is it that one? It's got to be that one. There you go. There's the money right there. 99249. So we get two values. So we're going to start changing some of these values, but what you will see is that it's obviously, or maybe it may or may not be obvious, but it's not going to immediately be reflected in the game. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to close it and then reopen it in order to see the effect. But that's just how the way that this game is designed, or the way that the game is built. And not every game is going to be different, but this is, again, sort of, it's works on an event based framework. So that's which we've already talked about. So we'll grab this one. We're not going to make a huge change. We're just going to make that 99.5, and then we will close it and then reopen it. All right, so that's the value we want. Not sure what this one is. Probably, I don't know. It's probably something. But what we will do as well is not immediately assume that we have the value. I want to go over here and buy something else. So what are we going to do? We have 99,500. It agrees with what we think we have. So let's spend 400. We should have 99.1. We do. All right, so this value, I'm not sure what it was, but this is the one we want. So what do we do now? We're just going to basically go through the same process that we did with the karma. We're going to say find out what writes to this address. This will attach the debugger. We say yes. Now what are we going to do now? We could bring this open, and we're not going to see anything over here because this value is not being modified. So we'll go back into the game, and then we will just buy something. I'll take a look. Give me the 400. Hit confirm. So we should have 98,700. Confirm, confirm, confirm. In fact, we do. We have one hit. So we will show dissembler. We get up here. Here's the assembly instruction that is modifying our money, or at least at when we are selling something. That's an interesting distinction, or when we are buying something, and that is an interesting distinction that we should make. So I'll take a look. Can we sell you stuff? View stash, sell items. Let's sell him the alley punk. Did we do that? Is it done? It is. Excellent. We could even sell guns. Let's exit. Let's go back out here. Okay, so two different memory locations for selling stuff, or I'm sorry, for buying something and then selling something. The first thing is this populated when we bought an item and lost money, and this one populated when we sold an item and gained money. So again, I don't know the technical reason as to why this stuff is not just rolled into one function. That's what you will see in a lot of games, or at least I find it more common, which is to say that generally there will just be one instruction that takes a value and copies it or moves it or whatever you want to say in some sort of agnostic way, so that you don't have to say, here's how you modify it for buy and here's how you modify it for sell. They're not that close in memory either. So, I mean, 9.2 and 0.2 is not too far apart, but when you start getting into the hex digits over here and you sort of convert it out into the memory addresses or whatnot, I mean, there's a reasonable distance between them. But enough of that. So what are we going to do? Well, basically what we're going to do is we're going to start with an AOB scan and just do the same sort of rinse and repeat process that we had started to do, or that we did for Karma. I'm going to start with a really small byte string like that. Bring up Cam Studio. All right. And now instead of doing a new scan every time, I'm just going to type out the bytes over here, and then I'm just going to hit enter, and it will filter down based on the 37 that it already has. So we'll do EB15 and we'll go out. Oh, we can't do that. We got to skip them. So we will skip the next one. Why are we skipping this instruction? Because it's a hard-coded address. So what is the next non-hard-coded thing? 83EC08. I bet that's pretty good. And then we would have to skip that and that and that. It's a whole lot of wild cards, but oh well. Let's look at these real quick. So 08, 08, 08. Then let's say 68. See what we get. It's a bunch. We could do this. Usually the first byte is indicative of the opcode, but not always. I hit new scan, crap. But not always. So generally I will wildcard out the first one. If there's like a hard-coded address right here, I don't really want to worry about whether this is a 1 or a 2 byte instruction or something like that. So I will just wildcard out them both. Or I will basically, more specifically, what I'm saying is that I will use a wildcard for the first byte, which is usually the opcode, but in the event that it is not, I don't want to have to go back and hunt down that sort of bug. So what do we got? We have 1 byte, 2 bytes, 3 bytes, 4 bytes, 5, 10, 15. So we need 15 wildcards to skip over this stuff. That's a lot. And there's no guarantee that it would work either. So what we could do is go down here and scan for something like that, because there's no hard-coded addresses right here, and then we could do an offset, or we could scan for stuff before it and then jump from that. We'll do it both ways just to make the point. So why do we need 15 wildcards? Because we have the byte pattern right here for these three, and then you have a 5 byte instruction, and then you have a 5 byte instruction, and then you have a 5 byte instruction. So that's 15 bytes, and we want to skip all three. So you need 5 wildcards for the first one, and then 5 wildcards for the second one. Instead of typing them out, I'm just going to highlight the 5. I'm going to cut. I'm going to paste it a second time, and then paste it a third time. So now we are down here. Still 2. It's interesting. Maybe we will have that same problem that we had before. So let's do C9. It's interesting. Does it matter? Because it's when we buy something, it's going to move this value into that, and if we sell something, it's going to move this value into that. And if you look over here, you'll see that we're finding our AOB, our array of bytes over here is returning 2 results. But if you look at the addresses of the 2 results, 07 or 0C078D02, that's right here. So we know that this is the buy, and then right here you get 0C093D92. That is the sell. We could say, well, that's good enough. Let's clobber them both, but you can't, because the AOB scan and assembly only gives you the first result, and there's no guarantee that the first one in memory, i.e. what AOB finds, there's no guarantee that this would be buy and this would be sell. Or what you may start up the game 99 times, and the instruction, the memory location for the assembly instruction that executes and modifies your money when you buy something will be first in memory those 99 times, and then that 100th time it will be second in memory, and whatever logic you have in there may get really confused, or it may get confused, and it's possible you will crash the game. So that's something to be cognizant of, as we demonstrated with that retarded bug that we were dealing with in the last few videos. I mean, it wasn't retarded, but it was annoying. So whatever are we to do? We're going to open up another memory viewer. Again, we're just going back to the well. and just, sort of using the same tactics that we used to solve some of the problems we faced up until now. 3D92. And what is this? This is D02, which is right there. So let's, again, make the windows similar. And then even them out a little bit. So let's just look at what we got. Those are the first one's the same. That's the same. We know it's the same all the way down to here because we're doing the byte scan. Then 005, 8B, EC, 57. All right, there's the first difference right there. And it's not hard-coded or anything like that. Is this the only difference? So then you got 8B, 7D, 08, and then 8B, but there's a hard-coded address, so it doesn't matter. Or at least it's hard-coded over here, but it's not over here. All right, so here's where basically the similarity ends for these two functions, or for these two, yeah, they're probably, well, I guess the function ends here, but for these two memory regions is a more generic way to say it. Let's right click on this, the D02, the buy instruction, and we'll say select current function. Let's see what we get. It ends on the ret, or on the return, and we'll talk more about that assembly instruction. We're going to wind up basically, in order to do some of this stuff, I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to wind up basically stopping and saying, all right, let's introduce all the, basically the rest of the assembly instructions. That not every single one, but we're going to have to talk about what is a comp, what is, add is relatively obvious. What is call? Maybe we'll talk about that, and push and pop and stuff like that. And the conditional jumps is, we're going to start getting into some of that stuff. But back to the task at hand. What was this instruction? 0C09 3D92. So where is that? 3D92 3D92 right there. Let's go to select current function. Scroll down to the end of it. This one ends on the ret as well. So that's the original one right there. And again, you can see that what we're doing is we're going beyond the current function that of the instruction that we're interested in, and we're just going to the next one and saying, is there any difference between these two after the current function? Because all we need is some fixed point in memory, and then we can start, jumping around relative to whatever our memory location is. And by jumping around, I really mean apply offsets, as we did with this stuff. So let's move in that direction. So we'll hit new scan. We'll go to that, and then so where's the difference? It was it down here? Yeah, it was like push EDI 57 and then 56. It starts right here. So this is the buy window. This is the memory location that's associated with instructions when it comes to buying something. And then this second window over here, the memory view 1 window, is this has to do with when you sell an item. Now you could certainly just say I don't want to make any difference at all, or you could more easily just put out a script, and basically when you put it out and you talk about the instructions, just be like, I didn't want to clobber them both because it doesn't really matter, because when I set it up so that when you buy something you get $1 million, and so all you got to do is go find somebody and buy something, and then you can get $1 million. We are going through it and doing the sell one as well, just to sort of demonstrate, for that's what we will say. So let's build up our byte string for buying something. So the difference starts 5, 7. So 5 was that move EBP ESI. Let's see if we can line them up a little bit. 8B EC, then 8B EC, and then 5, 7, 5, 7, and then 5, 6, 5, 8, 3. All right. So let's start building this out a little bit. 8, 3 EC 1, 4, 8B 7. I don't know. Whatever. I'll redo it with caps. 8B 7D 08, and then we'll add this next one, 0, 0. All right. Do I have a typo in there? It's 8, that's just because I'm stupid and I did 8, 9 instead of 8, 3. All right, we get 1. What is the address? It is 0C078D24. That's what we want. So now what we have to do is, this one comes later in memory, so we take out the calculator or the pen and paper if we want to be like that, and go 0C. 07.8D24 minus this first address right here, which is 0C078D02. So they offset the difference between this byte or this instruction, this memory location is what I should really be saying, and this is 22. So we will cut this out. We'll go into our script. We will make the new AOB scan. We'll call it AOB spend Nguyen. Obviously, we don't have to make any sort of character creation, in-game differentiation, as it were. Yeah, we're gonna add the. Let me think about this sort of in the future. We're gonna have spend Nguyen, and then I don't really like that. Let's just say AOB buy item or spend Nguyen, get spend Nguyen, take sell. Is that buy item, sell item? Yeah, we'll just go. I don't know. We'll just call it buy item. And then we were going to need a new injection point for that. And again, the way that I do this myself is whenever I'm adding functionality, I always put it on the end of my sort of whatever section I'm in. So, you know, instead of pre-pending it on whatever I have, I will append it, if you will. So inject by item. And then we need a new entry point. Entry by item. We're not really going to probably ever make use of the entry by item, but we're just going to do it just because. By item for the process. And then we need the return point. Return by item, and then we need to register the injection point so that in our disable section it actually knows what the hell inject by item is, or what memory location it is referencing. So let's write this out. Entry by item, it is going to jump, logic goes here, it is going to jump to process by item, and then we will say process by item is going to eventually, when it is done, it will jump to the return by item. What is the actual code? It is this right here, as evidence that this memory address. If you didn't want to copy it out of here, you could probably just come, or not even probably, but you could just come down here and copy it from that. So we'll just do that. It's no difference. It's the same code. All right, so that is that. So instead of doing that, well, we'll demonstrate that this all works before we crash the game, or to make sure we're not crashing the game, and then we'll come in and mess around with the value we're actually putting in there. So then we do AOB by item minus 22. That we will assign that location to inject by item, and then we will have some jump to entry by item. We'll figure out whether we need to pad a NOP in a second. Return by item, and then we will do inject by item, the original code, and then we will unregister our symbol because we are nice and tidy like that. And I'm gonna stop this here, and then we'll come back and pick this up, and we will figure out the jumps and whether we have to pad a NOP. And again, Cheat Engine will basically just do it for you in some sense, and we will go over that in the next video.